say return. Alright. Now, got crew, active missions. See where I was doing last. This mission right here is launch prep. It looks like launch prep for the Mars mission. And then there was this mission too, right? Yeah, I think that'll work. I just need to resist, otherwise I won't be able to do what I want. This time. Choose that. So basically I need to chew up a lot of electricity, or a lot of heat. Which gives me a fudge ton of data, which I then turn. Perfect, it doesn't matter that the craft's about to melt. Alright, currently looking to complete Mars orbit before China does. That's my current request. Subsurface penetrator. Finish an orbit is currently planned. Orbital EPA would be a nice, quick thing. If I can get a better transmitter there, make the whole thing go easier, it looks like. Maybe. Venus impactor has been sampled popular. Interesting. Wow. Free money. I wonder what procs that event. Alright, can at least make it a lot cheaper. Alright, next up is the crewed moon mission, which I am now researching and no one else is able to even start with, so that's good. There's Gemini. Cheaper. Now then, if this fails, then there is no way I'm completing that objective because China, well, and nothing went wrong. Okay, so I need 6 of that, 4 of those. My best bet for Shen is... you get a lot of that. Ooh, well. Never complain about a good event happening. What I'd like to do is, so I'm going to want for that 2 of those. So I want to generate a bit more. I'll generate it all last turn then. So that ensures I'll be able to do that. Easy money. Or more specifically, easy enough Mars orbit. Okay, now it just needs to not have anything go wrong for a little while. Alright, I don't even remember what this mission was. Venus orbit. Someone just failed Mercury something or other. It's the Gemini mission. Test pilot, a scientist on board. Make this craft a little bit more reliable. God, these are all... Oh. Always gonna have a suboptimal launch date. Okay, gotta perform mid-course correction maneuver. Done plenty of those in Kerbal Space Program before. Need thrust. Thrust is generated by so. It's one of my objectives. There's an error. I think I'm going to want to resist that. Okay, I need 3 AU, and so then yeah, it generates plenty of that. Generates fudge ton of that. And there. And even has chance for failure. Should have margin for failure. But we don't need any margins. And mid-course completed. Oof. Next up, research the Apollo payload. Is anyone still... Nope. Launch for Venus orbiter. Good enough conditions. Ooh, something went well. is this and this, more of that. So and then I need to create a little bit more of that. So 2. Everything's come out perfect. I get plenty of electricity to resist any glitches or failure. And there we go. On our way to Venus. No serious milestones met since the last time, so no funding goals boosted. Oh, how am I with all the other space agencies? I'm only getting about a 3% science bonus. Oh, a lot of stuff's about to open up, so it's my orbital EVA. The Gemini rocket did not detonate. So, here's, I believe it was, can I read what my objective was again? I seem to have forgotten. Really? Yeah, it's acceptable. Yeah, it worked out well enough. Hey, achieved Earth orbit. Next up, connect an EVA. Some of these things will generate drift. That's them, you know, doing stuff around the craft. If they drift off into the cool, dark, deep, dark, soul-sucking darkness of space, they will not have a good time. Sometimes the cinematics are cool. It's cool when they play. Makes it feel like something special just happened. Which, to be fair, they're supposed to actually be when something's oh. Actually, I can accept that. We conducted EVA. Now, realistically, a service module would have jettisoned, and we'd be burning back on retros. But that doesn't happen here. Now I need some comms. Can produce a little bit of data and turn data into that. And then I guess I need data more, so it's the only thing I really have that consumes. Oh, well, just gonna have to hope something doesn't go wrong. Well, it has a small margin for going wrong. Never mind. It had no margin for going wrong. But anyway, we touched down in Gemini after having performed DVA. And we got the max out of it too, which is nice. Oh, second nation to achieve Mercury orbit, or Venus orbit. Looks like that produces the most other stuff for me. Gives me a bit of seed, everything. Alright, get my data together. Next, what generates the most navigation? Turning data into nav generates the most navigation. And Venus orbit. Mercury orbit, I mean. Even if the craft's gonna eventually melt. And here's the Mars orbit. Like, I need this to succeed, otherwise I'm not gonna have the money to really do much else. Well, I suppose I can do the commercial satellite. That'll be my next goal. Alright, turn this to that. This to that. Generate a bunch of comms, which I can use for other productions. Yeah, there it goes, rolling low. I can accept that data loss. It gives me that later to compensate. Next up, generate a lot of data. Probably my easiest way to generate just a bit of data. And actually, that's fine. Perfect, actually. Alright. And then... Yes. Well then, that's most of the stuff right now done. It's the next assignment. Finish, so actually qualify for another couple of milestones then. Alright. You're an expensive payload, aren't you? You're an expensive payload who weighs 3,600 kilos. I can handle you. What my next mission is the Apollo is going to be a bit tricky. Add the LES, Launch Escape System. I'll just do a quick little Earth's oceans. Oh, perfect. And so that will bring me up 15 with Japan, which isn't enough to actually do all too much, but it's something. Oh, cool. EVA photos. Pet project. Acceptable. I'll quick make back 200, whatever it is. Using an older craft design. Okay, so the Apollo is 4,500 kilos. So, I think that's the cheapest. Gotta test it then. It's the cheapest design I got. Oh, it doesn't have any room for upgrades though. Oh well. That was the cheapest. That booster, I guess. Titan 2. Alright. So this one's a bit more expensive. I guess. Oh, if we're gonna build a Saturn V, we may as well build a Saturn V. Perfect. And I need to save the contractor. Let's go ahead and overrate the Resplendent with some cost-cutting measures. And Saturn V constructed. Oh, do I have the large launch pad? Because the Saturn V is a large rocket. Need the VAB. That's my next objective. Which has 10% vehicle build time. Need the large launch pad, which will be a little while then. What? How? God damn it, that's gonna cost me a bunch of morale. A bunch of support because China's about to. Oh, we'll still finish second, I guess. There's that. And I'm just gonna auto-resolve this. It's just a quick little intermission, which somehow managed to complete with bonus. So now Japan likes me more. Now, how far off am I from the launch pad? I'm getting... extra... so... commercial satellite, though. How about if I begin planning it, though? Really? Now the United States is planning it, too. Can bump payload reliability pretty easy. It's a quick little Earth Oceans mission. And dismiss spec. Yeah, bad weather, but it's acceptable. Also, I kinda need science, like, now. More. So, Mercury orbit's an option. Also got another Mars request, impact analysis. Could just do that. An EVA repair exercise allied with China. Looks like... ooh. Yeah, let's do that. Use the Apollo program for that. I can, again, compensate. Okay, what I need is the large launch pad, which I will be doing anywhere I can get a bonus out of it. Build time reduction isn't the most pressing, honestly. Yeah, I have to go there. Research. Honestly, gonna probably skip out on those fish. What would be nice is the Hermes vehicle, because I'd want that before I really think about what's thinking about space stations anyway. Oh. You say did the talking, but China got done? Well, I'm busy doing it right now, if you wouldn't mind. Simple enough. Get into Earth's orbit. And it immediately suffers an engine failure of some sort. Which I have to actually resist, because otherwise it won't work, period. That should work well enough. There we go. Now to deploy the satellite systems in a manner that is useful. So plus or minus a desired orbit within a given desired orbit. And just generate too much nav. Looks like nav can be turned into other stuff, so hopefully. It puts us still on course. Okay, that works just fine. And we'll be good. And first commercial satellite. Trunk load of money. Pretty good, as I guarantee that will... What do I need for this? Realistically, I should probably look at the modules that actually make up it. Let's look at these upper stages. Actually, I'm just looking for probably the cheapest modules. Which appear to be the boosters and the SRB, I guess. Those will be definitely used. Splendid, let's do that. Yeah, not gonna be able to reuse the design here. We're not going out either. At least make it cheaper. And I think I'll take that bullet because I do want this done at some point. Okay, what now? Do request mission. That's not much, but it is something potentially. Resolution is always an option. Recoil orbit. I think the Earth's orbit is probably the easiest one. Hey. Now we're looking at getting Mars readiness. Well. Russia has a 1% chance. Need the ACTS. So. Actually, that's a slightly different one. Sure. Kind of waiting on that. Ooh, one thing that might actually be useful. PR office, diplomacy office. And then the conference building. I think I'll need more science first. Here's another joint mission, which is going quite well. Yeah, this game has some fun to it, but eventually it does just sort of turn to a bit of a click fest. Just a little bit. Ideally, I could get some more joint missions with the United States. Ooh, well, hell yeah, we're doing that. As cheaply as possible. That's a mission that I'm gonna have to make sure I do every single one. Manually and optimize. Right, I remember. The earliest EVA maneuvers were basically done with a little handgun that shot propellant. So, you know, you point gun direction. Technically, that would happen with any gun you had used in space, but... And it's a launch of the Earth's Oceans analysis, which, for whatever reason, is just a bad vehicle. Like, literally, this vehicle makes everything just perpetually unoptimal. Yeah. I kind of wish it would be like, you know, you get a vehicle with a trait on it, like plus 5% launch reliability, and that would be assigned point value. And it's like 1 point, 2 point, 3 point. And then you say, okay, I've discovered this trait. Now I want to reuse it, but you have to have a negative. Maybe better payloads have better point values by default. So, you know, your T1 payload, if you want to make it super good, you also have to give it a super drawback. Well, your T laters, you can make them super good without any drawbacks, or super duper good with drawbacks. Same with launch vehicles. You can choose to mess with the design. Maybe you'll get lucky, maybe you'll get unlucky. Something that, you know, it just makes everything arbitrarily worse by always having suboptimal dates. But you've learned how to make that kind of vehicle. And then it's maybe, I'd say that's probably like a minus 3 points. But you also get to, and later on you discover plus 15% payload reliability. That's maybe plus 3 points. So you make a vehicle that's always going to have suboptimal launch dates, but it always grants plus 15% payload reliability. And you can make that whenever you want. Or you can random it again. Or you can make sure that you have something which has no benefits, no negatives. I think that would have been so much more interesting. And I just can't up with that right now. Seriously. What are the devs doing here? It's not a bad game. It's just somewhat repetitive sometimes. And there are certainly things that... It's repetitive sometimes, and it's lacking in potential, and it doesn't have any far future technologies. Which, I can understand that their scope it was limited to only Mars, but... Being frank, I think it's good enough a game that I might be tempted by like a DLC, like a Jupiter or Man Titan. Oh shit, have I had a spare launch window open? Anyway, it's a... Definitely gonna be doing that one. Money is money. But yeah, if there was like a DLC where it added, you know, SpaceX and all that stuff, I think I'd probably be tempted to buy it. The game's sufficient, I'd say. once I get my hands on a shuttle, I can start doing a bunch of stuff in low Earth orbit for cheap. Now, I'm not sure about the Hermes. I'm not familiar with it. I know the space shuttle, the SST that the United States used, was a piece of shit. It's not that it wasn't a bad vessel. I mean, it's one of the worst kind we had. It's killed about 14 people. It also was kind of forced to be double timing. It was supposed to be either you had a cargo variant or a crude variant. You force it to be both, and, well, both sides suffer. It now has to carry life support, but in order to be also to add crew capacity, which limits payload capacity, and then in order to be able to carry reasonable payloads, you have to have a cramped crew quarters, and it's just... Honestly, they'd probably been better off just using a... It wasn't even very reusable. It was supposed to be like 24 hours or a month turnaround, and it was like a fucking year to turn the whole thing around because the engines that you chose to use. Screw it. We get this far by recklessly throwing ourselves into space. Oh, I should have shown you. If I set up another moon mission, I'm definitely showing you the launch. Alright, that allows me to just flat out finish that thing off. I think I can complete this next turn then. And get the 10% bonus reward. Oh no, I have this energy to spare. And orbit achieved, or no, wait. TLI achieved translunar injection. And that doesn't look like it's the AJ-10 service module on there. That looks smaller, like just regular old AJ-10 propulsion for O's. Kind of think of it, this thing doesn't actually show the lander module. I wonder if it's probably a side effect of this thing being able to be used in just Earth orbit. Yeah, probably. Yeah, then I need a lot of comms. And a lot of nav. So that can relatively efficiently turn. Oh, an EV exercise. Nice. Whether or not that was a complete waste of time is unknown to me right now. Yeah, nice. As long as nothing goes wrong. Actually, I've got power for days. I can resist any issue. And now we have achieved lunar orbit. Wait. I guess that was... anyway. Next up, undock the lander. Going to presume that they're in a roughly equatorial orbit, because that's what makes it easiest then to rendezvous. I need mostly comms. What generates most comms here? Turning nav into comms. This also generates a fair bit of comms. Or data at the very least. I'll accept that because I'm not sure when I'll next be needing power. Okay, that generates a healthy amount of communications. Alright, now I just need to generate data and nav. Yeah, it's fine. So it's slightly drifted, so likely looking at a mild bit of inclination change, more than we'd expect. Wait, that's just the entire lunar landing descent as well. Yeah, I believe it's a I think everything on this thing was hypergolic. Yeah, entire thing was a hypergolic design. Hypergolic? Hypogolic? It's stuff where the oxidizer isn't oxygen. And it just sort of self-ignites. Oh, look, we landed on the moon. Yeah, if only everyone was landing on the moon. That would be a day. Maybe we'd have gone... dock with the command module. Yeah, there we are, jettisoning the landing bay. And just not actually burning the engine at all in order to get into orbit, apparently. Also, it changed color. So I need nav and a bit of data. That generates that. This generates a lot of data. And data I can turn to nav too, so there's that. For now, I'll accept some issues because I can correct that later, I think. Great, we've generated enough. Navigation. Now I just need to have enough electric charge to do that. It'll be good. Make sure absolutely nothing goes wrong here because... Yep, gonna have to resist that. Otherwise we wouldn't have been able to redock with the command module. And docking achieved. Gonna skip the part where we perform our train's Earth injection. Which, to be fair, is only a couple hundred meters per second at Delta V. It's a hell of a lot less to get out to... Nav and comms. Oh, that chews up all my heat then. Stat what's gonna generate nav. That will. Yeah, I can accept that. I want to keep the power for it now. How much heat do we generate? Way too fucking much. Next turn I'll have this finished. Oh, still need to generate. Thus we generate electricity. And we fall down to Earth. They reuse the same parachute for all of these. It's the same animation. Perhaps some aspects of this game were rushed or simply never pursued to their fullest. Wait, what can it build, apparently? VAB. Can also build up a backup power gen. Yes, 4% vehicle build cost isn't bad. Well, cost and time. I think I'll put it there. Does slapping this next to anything provide any significant bonuses? A build cost reduction. 3%. Is something I think I'm willing to take a look at. Finally, a research lab. I could suffer minus 50 of science per month. Or get a 3% science reward, 3% payload build cost.